Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, the first update on my life stacking burning era of Vigour Elementalist. MBX Apostate using the Apostate and some untouched soul and some empty red sockets for extra life and stuff like that. And oh boy, this build is actually developing to becoming the most fun build. This build is actually insane, and we are just scratching on the surface of this build, right? So, what has changed from yesterday's video? As you remember, level 69 Man of Culture just finished the campaign, 12,000 life. Now we're sitting at level 95 in a matter of one day. I was using, I think Goratha or Atlas Strat of the shrine thingy. So basically just an experience kind of like thingy, right? I'm gonna link the video down below if you want to take a look. It is so much fun to play, and also like kind of like more experience than 5-way. I think I averaged like a 1.5 billion experience an hour or something. Was actually kind of crazy, and super fun maps on top of that with like spamming breaches and shrines and stuff like that. Anyways, so gear-wise, not too much has changed, but the magic happened in the passive tree. I've done a revamp of my PUB, and now we're actually running a quad large cluster jewel setup with 4 times Sadist, 4 times Prismatic Heart, which gives me a lot of percent damage. And currently we're running about, around like almost 10 million DPS for single target, basically, right? This is without Awakened Gems. This is with a GMP setup, right? I think usually I would take a Deadly Ailment support as my, instead of the GMP, and then we would sit at like 13 mil Ignite DPS, right? But as you see, there is no Awakened support gems, and gear-wise, we're still rocking the Gold Rim. We're still rocking the, pretty much the exact same gear as I had yesterday. I think the only change that I've done was like changing out the Aberrate's Hooves. And now going basically with the Barracks Respite for the clear, because I wanted to have like more movement speed, and this was like a nice stat stick. Another thing that I've done before we gonna go over the map showcase and into detail what has changed, I'm now ailment immune thanks to the a Murderer's Eye jewel here and the Storm Shroud jewel, and I got myself an Adorned jewel, so now we're stacking things like life and burning damage, corrupted jewels, and that gives you like a shit ton of life and a shit ton of damage. And if you're wondering, no, this is not 150 Adorned for a mirror, this is a 143 one, 43 or plus. I think about like for 65 divines or something. The thing though is, with the Adorned, obviously it has less damage than a 151, but still the same amount of life. The reason for that is a 143 Adorned gives you like a 2.43 multiplier, right? So if I say this jewel has 7% life, right, and I put it on a 2.43 because I have a 143 Adorned jewel, I'm getting on 17.01 life. So this is the reason why this one gives me actually 17% life. And if I would say I have a 251, 7 times 2.5 is 17.5. That means the 151 and the 143 one do give the exact same amount of life, which is the 17%, just that the 143 one is like, a quarter or even less than the cost of a high level one, right? Good. I would say map showcase, and oh boy, this build is so cool. Like, I love it, man. So what am I doing here? I'm having here an experienced like shrine experience gain, and then I'm running a triple breach with the experience grind breach. I'm not linking you the Atlas passive tree of this one. I'm linking the video of where I got this, and there you can find it. So I want to give like the, the clicks to the person that deserves this for that strategy, but it's actually super fun. So we're running this with the Eater of Worlds. Let me quickly check, was it Eater? It was Eater, okay. So Eater of Worlds, then Domination, so lots of monsters, lots of fun, and something like that. Good, enter the map, and we're still playing on our snipe burning arrow setup. We have a frost blink, so we can, like, once we load it up, basically we can still like blink around and release our shot, right? GMP, just a regular clearing setup. The Eternal Blessing with now Malevolence, since I used to have Purity of Elements for ailment immunity. Now I fixed that with the Storm Shroud jewel, so I can now run Malevolence. And the rest of the gear is pretty much the same as always, POB in the description below. Good, all I'm doing here is quick tapping snipe. And since I have quite a lot of, this is actually a bit of a bad map showcase because I have temp chain, so I'm channeling slower. But as you see, I'm actually shooting these snipes on one stage very, very quickly. And if it wouldn't be freaking temp chains, it would be a bit faster, right? But clearing wise, I think this is so good. So first thing, I'm gonna actually rush the bot since we're there. Before any shrines or anything, loading it up. Then Frostblink forward, shoot one single time, and yeah, it's actually already dead. Pretty nice over here. So let's pick up the first shrine, and man, explosions and double ignite proliferation is just so fucking amazing. It is crazy. And if you're wondering, do you need the explosive flask? No, you do not need the explosive flask. I would say it increases the clear by maybe 20%, but the majority of the clear will come from the barracks respite as well as the ignite proliferation, right? And as you see, man, I just tap the snipe and the projectiles go off. Here we have Ash or something. Wait, he's alright, he's already dead. So it is just so much fun and crazy to play a build like that, and it's so much better than what I expected it to be in the first place, right? And the cool thing is, since I've done an Omega endgame PUB with like perfect gear and stuff, man, this build can actually reach like over 20 million Ignite DPS against Ubers, okay? Ubers! Because I reached Ignite cap so fast that I had to like calculate my damage in Uber boss damage, because I needed to check what is actually still a DPS upgrade, right? Because once you get dot capped, you're dot capped. It is what it is, right? But man, let me tell you, as an Ignite enjoyer, as somebody that loves EK Ignite and those kind of things, right? I think this is actually better. Man, this is... I'm just in a weird spot right now, because in one hand, I fucking love EK Ignite, and I don't want to, like, trying to sell you my build in it by any means, right? But this is just so much fun. I can just recommend something like that, and the ceiling is gonna be even better. So now I'm pretty confident that this build will do tier 17 maps and all the Uber bosses, and I'm not stopping before it achieves that goal, okay? This is my promise to you now. Uber bosses and T17 map, even though Uber bosses are just expensive, nothing else, but Shayular died. Good. Additional Regal Orb, we take that as well, and going to pick up the next Breach. And yeah, experience-wise, I think in like the matter of a couple of hours, I went from like level 70 to like level 95, and this is like pretty insane. Good thing here as well, as you see the Ignite prolifs every time there is Breach monsters spawning or anything like that, they're just dying. They're just dead, man. They just don't exist anymore. And I'm just like thinking, I want to finish this build in a part, or at least as a Burning Arrow build. Oh wow, this... Yo, cut this out, bad showcase. Happens if there is too many monsters hitting you at the same time, because at the moment there is not really much defensive layering besides just having a massive life pool. And what you see over here, since my life is getting reserved, this is because of the Dissolution of Flesh, and I'm not 100% sure if I want to keep going this route. I think Dissolution of Flesh, I mean, it offers you 30% more life, which is kind of insane. But you kind of reserve the life. I mean, I'm gonna explain it in a bit, what it actually is doing, but the problem is, if you get constantly hit or degening, you will just suffer and just die. And this just happened with the monsters here. They were just rushing at me and instantly, like, kind of like hitting me so often that I couldn't even recover or just get away. And this basically can happen, but is what it is. And I think, like, maybe later on, if we don't need that much damage, we could opt in for Grace instead of, what is it, instead of Malevolence, just because then we have the chance to evade attacks and maybe have the option for something like a Spell Suppression, Watcher's Eye, or something like that. This might, yeah, pretty much be a nice way to avoid getting hit, just to have, like, your Dissolution of Flesh not killing you. So map is pretty much clear at this point, and you saw the clear, you saw the gaming, man, it is amazing. I'm gonna... Double Exalted Orb, why is there no double Divine Orb drop? I'm gonna pick this up as soon as the video is done. Good. Where do we start? As I said before, we now have the Adorned, and now we're stacking as many jewel slots as possible. So this tree currently is just a mass of, like, jewel slots, Life masteries, I'm having all 6 life masteries because then I get 10% more life if I have all 6 life masteries allocated. Not all are useful, but it kind of does the job. Since I wanted to opt in for some peers, I got here Fan the Flames and Aerodynamics, which pierce an additional target, and I was not sure because initially I wanted to plan this build with a quiver with the peers, but I wanted to figure out, since I got this quiver for like 50 divines or something, which is almost perfectly rolled here, 5 times T1. I want to see, dude, the attack speed makes snipe just a lot faster, but there might be the way that the missing pierce chance from like something like the pierce quiver makes the clear feel bad, you know. But honestly, I have now 1 single pierce and the clear is freaking amazing thanks to Barrick, so it is just wonderful, right? As I said, 6 life masteries, and then basically here, this is just my stat fixing jewel because I need a lot of dexterity and intelligence, and I couldn't figure out a better way to do it right now while not crafting any gear so far, right? There is still like lots of things of crafting to min-max on this build, but today I focused a bit more on my passive tree. All these large clusters are the same. They have Prismatic Heart and Sadist and whatever is there in the back, but we want to have jewels for our magic jewels for the Adorned. Good. Then, as I said, also Abyss Jewels get affected by that. So this one gives me 92 flat life and 111 chance to avoid being shocked. Percent life is currently better for my build than flat life, but still, this one jewel plus the Storm Shroud makes me a ailment avoidant immune. So I could still say like, hey, I take 2 jewels with damage, but still run Purity of Elements. This could be something if you're just like having a bad time capping a res or something like that. Good. Now let's talk about the Dissolution of Flesh. So basically, it removes all energy shield. Doesn't really matter, we not have any energy shield because of blood magic anyways. Removes all mana, and no wait, what was the one that removed energy shield? I forgot, doesn't matter. Fact is, you get 30% more damage, but you reserve life instead of taking damage. And this is basically what killed me before, because I currently have no evasion or anything like that. So just to show you quickly how this works. You get damage, and now you're basically reserving the life, right? So it is not really taking damage, you're just reserving life at this point, right? But the fact here is, as soon as you not take damage for 2 seconds, your life regen as well as your recharge, your energy shield recharge will kick in, right? That basically means that I have like at this point 5, 6, 7,000 life per second as soon as I'm not taking damage for 2 seconds, and I'm like instantly full up, so I don't need to worry about a life flask or anything like that anymore, right? So why is this a good thing? Why is this a bad thing? The bad thing is, as you just saw before, I don't have any life regen, because if I'm still at like full life in that case. It's not like counting as full life, but full life in the terms of I'm not missing life, right? So my regen doesn't do anything. So why is this still good? Because obviously it gives you 30% more life, which is like just removing the jewel, I'm losing like 4,000 life. But without the jewel, I would have life regen, you know? So it's like the question, is this worth putting in or not? At the moment, I think it is. So I said about recharge. What is that? So basically we're using Eternal Youth. It says you have 50% less regeneration rate, and 50% less leech, but we don't care about that fact. But energy shield recharge applies to life. So the way energy recharge works, like if you don't take damage for a certain amount of damage, your energy shield will just recharge itself. This is just the way energy shield works, right? You have energy shield leech, you have regen, and you have recharge. Recharge doesn't exist for life unless you take the Eternal Youth. So why is this a good combination with the Dissolution of Flesh? Pretty simple. It says if you stop taking damage for a certain amount of time, you start recharging, right? With Dissolution of Flesh, I never get damage because I reserve the life instead of taking damage. So as soon as the 2 seconds are over, the recharge is 100% active at all times. I just need to like not get hit for 2 seconds, right? And this is also why something like Degen is so freaking annoying for this build. Ignite, Burning Ground, Desecrated Ground, or anything that just ticks you down, right? You stand there and you just see that at some point your life is just gonna get reserved, and then you're dead, right? So you want to try, obviously, to get ailment avoidance, so you're not suffering from Ignite or anything like that, but you also don't want to get suffering from bleed or anything, right? And I did that before with the barracks. I don't know if I still have it, maybe on my leveling gear or somewhere over the rainbow. Here is one. Here I got a Barracks Respite with Cannot Be Poisoned because I initially played this with a Bleed Immunity Flask. So I didn't care about Ignite because Ailment Immune. I didn't care about Bleeding because I have a Corrupted Blood Jewel as well as a Flask that gives me Bleed Immunity. And I used the Barracks with Poison Immunity, so all these were off the table. Luckily, I was searching for a quality of life solution for that, and I got myself a Watcher's Eye that has both Bleeding and Poison immunity while affected by Malevolence, right, or unaffected. And this basically opened up the implicit for my barracks to be something like Malevolence Aura Effect, because this will result into more damage. As I said, if this one wouldn't be there, let's say I only have, I don't know, Bleed Immunity here, then I get a Poison Immunity Barracks. If there is Poison Immunity on my Watcher's Eye, I get Cannot Be Bleeding Barracks Respite, right? And Corrupted Blood Immunity Jewel. So there is multiple ways of working around that, but you just try to not suffer from any stupid dots. Good, that was Dissolution of Flesh. What else has changed? Just glancing over, nothing really. I'm still playing the Gold Rim, I'm still playing my Omega Weird, just Energy Shield Life, no resistance kind of thingy, right? I do actually have like a better base on my stash right now, but I just didn't feel like crafting it for now, and I also got myself a pretty nice ring with flammability and increased life. So this one will go soon as well. I already spent like 15 divines worth of essence with the dot multi, but it is so hard to hit a decent ring with like life, ally damage with attacks, dexterity, resistance, something like that with an essence. If you just get dot multi on the suffix, right? This is like a bit brutal, gonna spend more currency trying to craft this ring, but at the moment this is still where I'm sitting at. The red socket, obviously because of the untouched soul giving me flat life per empty red socket on my gear. For some reason, the Apostate pretty much price jumped quite heavily. I think like 5-6 times the price that it used to be before. I think yesterday they were like 1 divine, and I got this 4-link one for 4 divines, and currently we're talking about 7 divines. So basically 7 times the price as yesterday. Wondering why this happened actually, but trust me, build is actually freaking cool. What else did I put in there? Let me quickly think about. I did my Uberlab, now we have Shaper of Storm. Oh yeah, Sadist, also pretty interesting to know. Ally damage, which obviously counts for burning or fire damage, burning damage and stuff like that, generic ally damage. If you've chilled, ignited, shocked recently. Ignite, obviously we're an ignite-based build, we have shock from our Shaper of Storms, and now I'm currently trying to get some form of cold damage to attacks, as well as like increased effect of non-damaging ailments. At the moment it is not really true that I would say I would chill bosses, because therefore the damage is too low, but for mapping this is like permanently active. I just don't, or at least need to figure out how much cold damage do I actually need to apply. It doesn't matter which kind of chill it is, only a 1% chill or something would be enough, if that is even a thing. Probably there's a minimum chill. I could go for a Forbidden Flame Flash with Shaper of Winter, but I think with an Adorned setup you want to spend the minimum amount of jewel slots basically for non-magic jewels, right? But, you know, it is what it is. Good. I think that is pretty much it. Large cluster jewels, the Adorned setup, the Watcher's Eye, the new boots that are actually pretty trash still, but it was just better than the old ones. And yeah, this is basically the update for today and level 95. PUB is in the description below, and for people wondering why are you doing this all the time, you play a Slayer, you start over here, and the first thing you do is going all the way up to all the want nodes on my Ellie Hit Slayer, right? I mean, I had to be the Slayer for Masterful Form, right? And what am I doing now in the next build? I'm starting as a witch, and the first thing I do is freaking go down to the duelist side. So, like, what is going on with the trees, right? But the thing is, it's not too heavy invested. There is a couple of traveling points that could be over here if you would play this as a chieftain. I have not made any PUBs about that. The thing is, why I go Elementalist is the easy access of something like Sadist for generic damage scaling, the permanent ignite, all damage can ignite, the extra exposure. So I think this one is like insane big damage, as well as Heart of Destruction, 30%, for the 30% more ally damage against single target is just insane. Plus the shock, and also the Shaper of Flames helps with the explosions from Oriat's End, because this is like a 10th of their maximum life as damage from a random element, right? And without Shaper of Flames, if this is a lightning explosion, it would not ignite, right? So that's why the Shaper of Flames is pretty nice. But I can definitely see playing this as something like a chieftain, for example, or anything else that you feel like. I mean, the tree is so spread apart. If you go left side up or right side up, or if you do this as, I don't know, Pathfinder or something, might also work. But don't forget, this is like the super quality of life setup. You want to get chance to ignite, and there are not many chance to ignite things on a tree, right? If you see chance to ignite, there is a bunch of ignite stuff on the top side of the tree, a little bit here on the left side here on the Holy Fire, where you can get some chance to ignite. Then we have a little bit of a cluster over here with Burning Brutality and the Invigorating Blaze, which is more like the melee ignite thing or attack-based ignite stuff. On the right side, we don't really have anything, so that's why I say, like, even if you play this as a chieftain, you would most likely, your tree would look almost the same, just these couple travel nodes would be somewhere on the life nodes over here, so you would have a little bit more life on this case, right? Good. Let me quickly go over the transmog that I'm using here, because a lot of people ask. This is the Shackled Immortal Helm with Stage 2. Stage 1 doesn't have Burning Hair. Stage 2 does have. Then we have Incinerator Weapon Effect, Dragon Hunter Quiver here in the back. Then we have Incinerator Body Armor, the Automaton Flame Strider Boots, the Burning Torturer Gloves, which are the which result into these like dark red circles for the Ignite Prolif. Infernal Crystalline Charges, all flasks disabled. Then we have the Bronze Treasure Hunter effect. Should actually be gold. I think gold looks actually cooler. How did I miss that one? There it is. Now it's the gold one. And Sakabo's Fate Rare Finisher. I don't care. I don't know. All the auras disabled. That's what I usually always do. Because I don't know why. Even though I have so freaking many MTX collected over the past years. It is... Oh, stop now. Dude, fuck off. I feel like solid peaked MTX are like way better than just having like a bazillion aura effects and your character is glowing and footprints and stuff like that. I feel like this kind of like solid character where there's not too much going on just looks like aesthetically more pleasing. And the ooze character effect, I always forget to mention it because it's black and it barely sees that. It turns it basically just in this like ooze effect. So yeah, that's about this one. Good. I'm gonna keep playing this build because I fucking love it. I'm gonna try to finally get some crafting going, finally upgrade the character. We're sitting right now, what did we say, about like 10 million Ignite DPS on the clearing setup. And yeah, I'm very confident that we can blast this build up to the high heavens, if we please so. But obviously, it starts to become very expensive because now we're talking about Awaken Orb crafting, Essence crafted, where the ring bases could be like very expensive. The few sources of, I mean, you don't need that, but I think the Ignite Faster coming from Delph is pretty sweet here, right? So we need to craft this and that, and, you know, I could easily spend a lot of currency on this build, but we're gonna see how everything is gonna turn out and if this build is possible or able to do all of the end game content once we get there. I don't know if this is going to be in the next video or in 2 videos. I'm just gonna keep you guys updated whenever there is major changes to the build, and in the end of the day, if it can do the T17 and the Uber bosses and everything as this Ignite Burning Arrow of Vigour, then I plan to convert this build into a spellcaster and then try something like EK Ignite as a life stacking version or many other skills like Arc or something, because so much flat damage, I think this is gonna turn out pretty great. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.